All you have to do is say, nah, that's okay. And then you change. You could have a newspaper that's been operating since 1784.
Yes.
And not have a school of journalism, not have any type of thing, and not be concerned that because of the way that paper runs, there aren't any born black Bermudian reporters of any, seeing if it's still working there. That's why I say it's going to be me. Because I can't keep saying who else is going to, or why isn't this group, this person, that board, that commission saying, doing whatever. So it's going to be me. And so be it. Before I even get into the BHA, I've got to say something else. I've had a weekend, okay?
Okay, seems like it, yeah.
Oh, yes. We have theoretically two pillars of our economy. Okay, international business and tourism. Yeah?
Yeah.
But really, there are actually three global or international areas that our school students could be prepared for.
Okay.
And so if there's going to be signature schools, and I know all of this was on pause, and this is, quite frankly, I'm only saying a lot of this now because mixed between allowing and letting things play out to see if they go, so I don't have to say something in advance, and then, hey, if you would have held your corner, they're going to do this anyway. So waiting to just see if people do things that, they promise or say or allude to. And then the flip side is just, I can't, the stakes are too high. And I realized after reading Cayman and reading after we can't know what's going on in Cayman and allow the direction this country is going in under this particular brand of political leadership. We are probably going to overtake Cayman.
Well,
yep.
That's a big statement,
Mate, I defy someone to prove me wrong. Email it to me.
Okay.
Because we ain't got time for us to go back and forth on the radio. Okay? But we have something, we have a problem Cayman didn't have.
Okay.
Cayman has a challenge of providing scholarships for people who might not come back. Our people are not coming back and are leaving if they were already here.
Yeah.
And our birth rate is low. There's another I'm going to deal with in a bit. But let me go back. I'm going to I find this remarkable. This is, I'm going to show you how far they've come and where we are. So there are three, right? International business, tourism, and then there's BIOS.
Yeah.
Well, how much of our curriculum in our schools is around the ocean? Ocean sciences, right?
I don't know any.
How long do you think BIOS has been there? 1903. I'm going to read you the about us on the BIOS board. Since modest beginnings as a seasonal field station in 1903, we've grown into an internationally recognized center for ocean science, atmospheric research, and environmental monitoring and mapping. By investing in top-tier resident scientists and robust infrastructure, including an Atlantic Explorer, it is their remote vehicle, unmanned.
Right.
Our UNOLS-compliant oceanographic research vessel stands as a fact-based voice in a crowded conversation around the state of our planet's ocean and climate. Who are we? We are committed to using our science to benefit people and communities around the world, providing resources and knowledge that can be used by government representatives, environmental management officials, community leaders, and individual citizens to make the planet a better place to live. The research vessel, Atlantic Explorer, is a U.S.-flagged ocean-class vessel in the U.S. academic research fleet, operated by Arizona State University BIOS as a designated operator that provides faculty and staff as well as visiting science and students with well-equipped labs to support numerous scientific endeavors. Where are we? Since 1932, we have resided at Ferry Reach, St. George's on the east end of Bermuda. Located in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean, Bermuda is uniquely situated to serve as a base for research on a variety of inland, coastal, and deep-water issues of both local, national, and global interest. From here, scientists can easily venture into the surrounding Sargasso Sea, one of the world's most diverse open ocean ecosystems. Bermuda is also home to some of the world's most northern coral reefs, allowing researchers from around the globe an opportunity to study corals outside tropical waters. What do we do? And they go on to talk about it. In terms of their education, from hands-on programs for Bermudian primary and secondary students to semester-long courses for visiting college students, we open our doors and labs for a variety of education programs each year. BIOS's Ocean Academy inspires hundreds of local students every year, that's Bermudian, every year to contribute to a growing body of knowledge about Bermuda's marine environment, resulting in educational resources that are utilized in classrooms and beyond. Our outreach programs offer a sneak peek at the research taking place at Arizona State University, BIOS, as well as how this work contributes to the global understanding of ocean and climate science. Throughout the year, visiting scientists give seminars about their current research, offering their insight and knowledge to attendees in an intimate, discussion-oriented forum. Its mission? Our mission is to seek and share fundamental knowledge of the oceans through state-of-the-art scientific research, world-class field expeditions, and comprehensive educational experiences. We join this other group, its missions to help ensure a habitable planet and a future in which well-being is attainable. We are committed to promoting access and inclusion in marine science and the wider STEM community. We strive to be a welcoming and inclusive community where all employees and visitors can develop, learn, grow, and discover. BIOS faculty and staff will honor and respect your experiences, perspectives, and unique identity. In 2023, ASU Bermuda Institute of Ocean Sciences celebrated 120 years of excellence in ocean science research and education. And then the last thing I took down from the site was two headings. One, Bermuda curriculum support. And this is what they offer local students. Through Ocean Academy, BIOS strives to support local teachers and educators in the development and delivery of STEM curricula. Half-day field trips are available through the Curriculum Enrichment Program and Mid-Atlantic Robotics in Education to allow local teachers to bring BIOS's cutting-edge science and immersive experiences to their students. For public schools, all field trips are aligned through the Cambridge International Curriculum, and for private schools, our offerings are adapted to ensure lessons are in alignment with individual school curricular standards. Additionally, Ocean Academy staff arrange and host work shadow placements and serve as judges at science fairs throughout the academic year. All 2.5-hour excursions are suitable for 10 to 20 students and include bus transportation, boat transportation, experimental materials, and a BIOS educator. And then they talk about the field trips that they offer. One on plankton and ocean food chains, the water cycle, molecular biology, identification of keys, corals, ocean acidification, engineering and robotics, circuits, diagrams and conductors, ocean sounds, the science of sound, reef fish, data collection and analysis, and then have a summer student camp, ocean science camp, marine science camp, innovations for the environment, and what's called the Bermuda program. I just mentioned that really because I understand that we don't necessarily understand what we've achieved in this country. I understand that we don't understand necessarily what global and international institutions do in Bermuda, for Bermuda, and from Bermuda. I get it. Work Academy has a marine facility. I read up what they do. But what I'm getting at is if we are not preparing our children for the 3 global relevant pursuits that we just do here just as a standard.
Right.
We understand if you're going to do something we don't do here. But if we aren't even preparing, say, signature schools for those 3 pursuits, then what are we doing? We're ensuring, right, that the 3, 1 scientific and 2 commercial, well, cultural and commercial for tourism, and definitely commercial for international business, will constantly need to overlook Bermudians. Not will overlook Bermudians, but will need to.
Yeah.
Imagine BIOS and some of the top 500 companies in the world being able to help plan a curriculum to identify people at 10.
Yeah.
So that the parents and them and the school can look at streams of choice, not for employment, but where they're actually interested.
Yeah.
Because the marine stuff covers everything from robotics to counting number of co-pilots.
Yes.
You got me?
Yes.
The international business is everything from broking to writing and underwriting to then that's just in reinsurance and insurance. In hospitality, I don't have to tell you, you're the last person, right? I was talking to the folks last week, and someone who was at the, they call you can tell when you're talking to a veteran,
Right.
Because they call it BDOT, right? That's a veteran tourism official. You know why? Bermuda Department of Tourism,
Yeah.
BDOT. And so when somebody said, when I was at BDOT, I said, ooh, this is a veteran. And she was talking about tourism in the school system, and that she would go around and even say to people, there are accountants in the hospitality industry,
Yeah.
There are these professional designations all in hospitality, and you get to knock off early, and you know what I mean, and all the different things. So people, although they were pursuing, if you will, corporate or professional careers, they were still being introduced to doing those careers in the hospitality industry.
Yes.
Right? And not just hotels, right? All around. So all I'm saying is that there are those three there. And that's why the Hotel Association statement hit me the way it did. Last Monday and Tuesday, I was training people trying to get in the industry. Last Monday and Tuesday.
Okay.
Right? I probably shouldn't say this part, but I won't. But I have said it on the show before. I'll tell you what, really. Try to imagine that I've told our listeners that I've told our listeners that I've designed a bartending course, haven't I?
Right.
I was saying about where ice came from.
Yes.
Right? So how do you think I felt? Me personally.
Yes.
Knowing I've done a training course that is still being finalized by the powers that be, right? And before the course launches, they open it up for non-Bermudians. You see that side that you had? I wish that was my reaction. I wish that was my reaction. Okay, so the calls I made, I told you I had, were because how is it that the training comes after the announcement of foreigners are now allowed in? So how does this man dare say we are committed to continuing to work in conjunction with the Ministry of... How can the Hotel Association say this? Seriously.
Yeah, they.
And the part that drives me up the wall, round the bend, is, and this concerned me about the FDM statement as well.
Okay.
Now, I could hear some listeners right now, that boy sitting on the throne judging everybody, what's his thing? I was guilty.
Yes.
But guess what? Being Bermudian, I read all these things that you all are telling me to read as a Bermudian. So I read your statement. I see your report. I download that publication. And now this show shares it. But if one more political party or a so-called clever person quotes the unemployment numbers, I may throw up all over them. Because I don't understand how we have the government itself knew to do a report on immigration that was published January 2025. Okay? In other words, there's so many people leaving Bermuda, they had to find out why. And then publish that report.
Right.
How could you then claim unemployment? So if you want to tell half a story, if you're always right,
Yeah.
if you are never ever wrong, then by all means, unemployment is low. So how many Bermudians are working then, today, versus then? Well, here we go. There are fewer Bermudians working now than in 2017. And there are 1,300 more non-Bermudians working since 2017. And I suppose I'm supposed to accept that. That's my guess. Since 2017, our workforce has lost 404 jobs, the overall workforce. Right?
Okay.
There are 404 jobs down, and I'm using 2024 numbers. 2025 hasn't come out yet. Okay? So there were total 33,659 jobs in 2017, and there's 33,451 now. But in terms of Bermudians, since 2017, well, there was 23,671 Bermudians working in 2017. 23,671. It's now in 2024, 22,369. There are 1,246 fewer Bermudians working. 1,246 fewer Bermudians are working in 2024 than in 2017. However, there are 1,107 more non-Bermudians working in that same period. Since 2017, 1,246 fewer Bermudians working and 1,107 more non-Bermudians working. These are facts. And the thing for me, someone stopped me called me over the weekend, really, and said they were in a conversation with someone. And I'm just going to say, I mean, you take it personally or not. The people who, I'm about to talk about a politician, and I just realized he can take it personally or not. But I'm repeating a story. But this gentleman told me that someone said to him that they, and I don't know who they must have meant, I don't think he meant the delegates, ought to give Jason Hayward a chance. You got to give him a chance. That was the phrase that this person told me someone had said to them. And aside from, I mentioned last week, well, I don't know why we even know. There's only the delegates who can vote. It's supposed to be October. We're in March now. Why do we even know? And the last time I think it was Roy Gazette or somebody did a poll on who would you prefer, 80% of the country said Curtis Dickinson, and the PLP said, and what? Right? So what? And voted for David Barrett. So I have no clue why they're telling us. We don't matter. They don't care what we say. I don't understand it, right? But three things about that comment. Number one, that's someone bringing the individualistic into public service. So public service, you think just the fact that it's called public service makes it collective, right? It's not about you. It's about the country, the constituency, the vulnerable, the seniors, the children, the students, the business, whatever it is. But it's collective. It's not about you. The fact that somebody thinks that this person should be given a chance, like striker on Manchester United, or give him a chance to go keep it on the backwards. It's life and death. There are people choosing to leave their home country because of the cost of living. This is not jokes. And so when that person give him a chance, a good thing. It wasn't the person who said it to me. It was being relayed to me.
Okay.
Okay, but give him a chance. A cabinet minister for 8 years. What chance? You know them.
Yes.
That's the point. And when the person who's in charge of immigration and jobs and labor produces these numbers, the potential elevation of that person has nothing to do with job performance. But neither did the last premier. And neither the election before that. It's never recently about performance. It's about something else. So the Hotel Association comment. Sorry. One. Second thing, on that thing, give them a chance. First, collective and individual. Secondly, saying give the person who's a labor, immigration, closed work, open, restricted category, permit, PRC person a chance when we're facing what we're facing and have the results that we have? You know what that is the same thing as? Them taking a raise after an election with the lowest turnout. We couldn't say more. We couldn't show you more. You're doing a bad job.
Right.
Didn't matter. The same way I don't understand why we even know who's interested in being the next leader of the PLP. What we say or feel doesn't matter. There is no mistaking that. I have strong opinions, but these are facts.
Right.
Okay? And the reason why I felt today was going to be a different day and we're going to change gears and I'm no longer going to say it shouldn't be us is because I read some of that budget.
Okay.
And you cannot be a listener to this show, read or listen to some of that budget and not panic. I read it, knowing came in, and full-on panicked. Because again, as is the brand of this particular cabinet, they don't make mistakes. Have you ever heard they got something wrong? Have they ever apologized to you?
No.
They must have. Everything's been perfect, right?
Yeah.
So these are the results we're supposed to get, right? And so saying what I'm saying, what? So let me say that the third thing, first, individual collective.
Yeah.
Second, it's taking the raise. But third, and I'm speaking directly to any PLP delegate who listens to this show. The PLP first became government in 1998. And in 1999, the then party leader and premier was challenged in a leadership election because that year was an election year for leader. And without going too deep, because the country knew she had been challenged, they knew who challenged her. And there was a group who felt, how in the world could someone challenge the person who won government for the first time in the party's history and changed governments for the first time in Bermuda's history? Like, who would challenge that? Who would challenge that record? Who would? Well, it was challenged. And at the risk of annoying people, I will say that when it was time for the then party leader to address the delegates, her comments were so quick that she never even got behind the podium. She walked up to the podium, but got to the side of it, pulled the mic, said it, and went and sat back down.
Wow. So what did she say?
I serve at your pleasure.
Wow.
You know, the next time I heard that sentiment was Roger Crombie was a British journalist here
Yes.
who did things for Bermuda in the international business arena that you cannot imagine. Crombie was the man for Bermuda international business sector, okay? And he got caught up in a dispute between the PLP and the Royal Gazette, and he had been employed at the Mid-Ocean, and they pulled the work permit and blah, 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 right?
Okay.
So I met with him, and I said, hey, mate, you're so good for the country, and these people don't know what they've done. What if I create a consultancy and hire you, and then we can work and do things for the country together?
Right.
And you know what he said?
What's that?
Corey, I appreciate that. I really, really do. But I'm a great believer that if you've been invited to a house, you don't get to say when you leave. If the host says it's time to go, it's time to go. Notwithstanding you like the food, the hospitality, you liked everything. If the host says it's time to go, it's time to go.
Yeah.
And so the leader in 99, I serve at your pleasure. Him saying, nope, I gotta go. And Cayman and Bahamas offered this man everything under the sun, and he would not go work for them. He was loyal to us. Notwithstanding what we did to him.
Wow.
So, speaking directly to you delegates, having been there in 98, having been there prior to 98, the party from, I would say, 06, has been less focused on its performance in terms of serving the people who kept it going in opposition. The strugglers now are the same strugglers under the UBP. The same view of young black males today is the same under the UBP. Your leader does not reflect the values of the PLP in opposition, and you know it. You know it. There's data, there's anecdotes, but leaving all that to one side, you have a record now. And quite frankly, if you're still thinking parochial, if you're still thinking small p politics, then you still haven't switched to governing this country. And governing this country is not Bermuda Incorporated for the PLP. It has been, and that's why the budget made me so sick. That in the face of emigration, people literally leaving Bermuda, and you know the race and class of the people who have to leave this country. In the face of what's this now, the 8th year calling for income tax, the corporate income tax that wasn't even around when income tax for personal income was floated. They're getting a rebate, and the government won't even start the data collection for fairness in the tax system.
Oh, my.
The cognitive dissonance that you all have been operating under since around 2018 must break. Must break if you care about this country and the Bermudians in this country who might or might not wear green and white. I've been there. Truth of the matter is, I wrote a lot of the stuff that made you all feel proud to be PLP. And that's the public stuff you've seen. You have no clue about the private and the confidential and the consultancy. But someone asked me on the weekend, how hard is it for me to do this show knowing stuff that I know that I can't say? Extremely.
Yeah.
Extremely. But I'm trying to honor at least the professionalism of that time and the relationships I might have had at that time.
Yes.
But I want to change gears on you and tell you why the breach of trust is so bad. Okay? I'm going to read one sentence, and I would like to know whether you've heard this word before. For the purposes of this work permit policy, references to a Bermudian and a spouse of a Bermudian shall include belonger and spouse of a belonger. Have you heard the word belonger before?
Yes, I have.
In the Bermudian context?
No, not in the Bermudian context.
Which context have you heard it in?
Well, I've heard it mentioned in a case that actually came up. The details are faint, but I heard it. And it was a case, how many years ago? Maybe 5, 6 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And it came up.
So, the work permit policy here does mention the word belonger.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. So, I want to provide some things I'm not sure how many people know.
Right.
Okay. So, what happened in 2016, there was a case, and I'm going to read you this column that was written by a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
This is April 2016, and the lawyer was named Peter Sanderson.
Yes.
Under the heading, Who Belongs to Bermuda? Mm-hmm. The Court of Appeal has recently confirmed in the case of the Minister of Home Affairs versus Williams that people who belong to Bermuda under the Constitution cannot be treated differently to Bermudians in terms of work permit restrictions. Belongers include not just Bermudians, but also naturalized British Overseas Territory citizens, the wives of Bermudians and British Overseas Territory citizens, and the children under the age of 18 of all of the above-mentioned classes. The Supreme Court has also recently held in Barbosa versus Attorney General that born British Overseas Territory citizens can also be counted as belongers, which is significant for some children who have been born or brought up in Bermuda. Do you understand what I just read?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. For decades, Bermuda has a hidden group of rightless citizens who were born here and who were entitled to Bermuda passports, but until the Barbosa case, had no recognized rights to live or work here. A child would be a British Overseas Territory citizen at birth if born in Bermuda before January 1st, 1983, or after that date if one of the parents is permanently settled in Bermuda at the time of birth. A person can be registered as a British Overseas Territory citizen before the age of 18 if their parent becomes a British Overseas Territory citizen or permanently settled in Bermuda during their childhood. The essence of this case is that there's category of people, so a British Overseas Territory citizen has the same right as a Bermudian in Bermuda.
What?
I thought you took that quite calmly. That was how this began.
Wait.
The Court of Appeal has recently confirmed in the case of Minister of Home Affairs versus Williams that people who belong to Bermuda under the Constitution cannot be treated differently to Bermudians in terms of work permit restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
Further, a person can be registered as a... Let's go back a bit. A person can be registered as a British Overseas Territory citizen before the age of 18 if their parent becomes a British Overseas Territory citizen or permanently settled in Bermuda during their childhood. So, somebody is in Bermuda, they are not Bermudian. But the parent has been here for a while and the child's born here.
Okay.
That child will be a British Overseas Territory citizen. Shall I continue?
Go ahead.
This will typically assist the children of PRCs and obviously Bermudians, but there may be other people who will be counted as settled. Basically, so this is the case that came out with Barbosa, and the lawyer goes on, Barbosa is being appealed by the government but remains the law unless and until it is overturned by a higher court. Parents whose children were born or brought up in Bermuda maybe should take advice on whether their children are eligible for British Overseas Territory citizenship. And then they go on and speak about that. Now, the where this belonger is new. This came out, and this is 2016 that this article came about. Okay. And the article goes on to say that belongers, having belonger status does not come with voting rights, nor does it bring any entitlement to Bermudian status. However, the Supreme Court held in Barbosa that the lack of a pathway to status for born BOT citizens is unconstitutional. There have not yet been any cases on the lack of a pathway to status for naturalized British Overseas Territory citizens as opposed to born British Overseas Territory citizens. It could be argued that it would be discriminatory to deny a pathway to naturalize British Overseas Territory citizens. Well, the lawyer's last paragraph, my impression is that everybody has focused on Bermudian status for so long that other types of belongers have been completely overlooked. However, these recent cases are emphasizing the importance of British Overseas Territory citizenship in Bermuda's unique constitutional framework. Right? That, then there was the government appealed.
Okay.
This case ended up in the Privy Council. Okay, the Barbosa case.
Right.
And I'm going to read this background. This is out of the Privy Council because the Privy Council gives the background to this case, which our listeners might appreciate because I didn't know the details of this case. Mm-hmm. Okay? So this is the Court of Appeal on the case of the Minister of Home Affairs and Barbosa. Barbosa was the appellant. So Barbosa's appealing the Court of Appeal. The appellant, Mr. Barbosa, was born in Bermuda in 1976. His parents were not Bermudian. Under the British Nationality Act 1948, Mr. Barbosa's birth in Bermuda made him a citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies. By operation of the British Nationality Act 1981, he became a British Dependent Territory citizen in 1983. This citizenship was renamed British Overseas Territory citizenship by the British Overseas Territories Act 2002, which also conferred British citizenship on Mr. Barbosa. Mr. Barbosa has lived in Bermuda continuously since around 2003. In 2007, he married Christine Barbosa, who was born in the Philippines. In 2013, Mr. Barbosa was granted indefinite leave to remain in Bermuda. He was, however, told that he was not able to apply for Bermudian status. Mrs. Barbosa's situation was different. She was first granted indefinite leave to remain in Bermuda and then a certificate of naturalization as a British Overseas Territory citizen under the 1981 Act. This means that she was, in quotes, deemed to belong to Bermuda under Section 11.5 of the Bermudian Constitution. Now you understand what a belong is?
Yes,
okay.
Gotcha.
When these proceedings were commenced, Mr. and Mrs. Barbosa wished to bring Mrs. Barbosa's niece to Bermuda and adopt her. They were told that the adoption would not be permitted because they were not residents of Bermuda within the meaning of the Adoption of Children Act 2006. Mr. and Mrs. Barbosa began proceedings against the respondents, the minister, in August 2015, seeking several declarations. The only one which is relevant to this appeal is a declaration sought by Mr. Barbosa that as a British Overseas Territory citizen, he belonged to Bermuda for the purposes of the Constitution and was a resident of Bermuda within the meaning of the Act. The Supreme Court of Bermuda found that Mr. Barbosa was entitled to the declaration. The respondents successfully appealed to the Court of Appeal of Bermuda, and now Mr. Barbosa appeals to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. The Privy Council ruled against Mr. Barbosa. And the short version is, under the Constitution, Mr. Barbosa does not enjoy Bermudian status or belong to Bermuda, and the board will humbly advise Her Majesty that the appeal must be dismissed. So, belonging didn't work.
Right.
As you know, I'm not a lawyer.
Right.
So I found law firms writing about the Privy Council case, which might make it a little easier to understand. Shall I?
Go ahead.
Okay. Bermuda's, hold on, let me just, this was first published in Bermuda Chamber of Commerce newsletter in December 2019. So the Privy Council ruled in 2019. Okay? Mm-hmm. And the finals of court has handed down its decision in a long-running case which had the potential to significantly change the landscape of immigration rights in Bermuda. And then they 2, Mr. Barbosa was born in Bermuda in 1976 to non-Bermudian parents, lost his bid before the Privy Council to be classed as a belonger under Bermuda's constitution. As a result, he is denied various rights which are available to other people who were born in Bermuda. And so the case is essentially talks about the adoption, and they go, Mr. Barbosa would not have encountered this difficulty had he been able to apply for Bermudian status or PRC, but due to the circumstances, he was ineligible to do so. The existing pathways to Bermudian status are very limited. In particular, there is currently no right to apply for status purely on the basis of long-term residency in Bermuda unless domiciled on the island before 1956. If he had been successful, Mr. Barbosa's case would have cleared the way for other British Overseas Territory citizens in a similar position to him, estimated around 300, to apply for Bermudian status, giving them permanent rights to reside and work on the island. In his claim, he argued that his inability to seek Bermuda status was contrary to his constitutional rights. Bermuda's constitution prohibits both restrictions on the right to reside in Bermuda as well as discrimination due to place of origin, except in relation to persons who do not, in quotes, belong to Bermuda. I'm going to read this part that is, I think, relevant. The Constitution contains a list of several categories of people who are deemed to belong to Bermuda. Did you know that, Billy?
Mm-hmm.
You knew that? I didn't know that.
No?
No, you knew there was a group of people, other than, say, a Bermudian born.
Right.
A wife of a born Bermudian.
Right.
And this PRC stuff, did you know there were other categories of people who belong to Bermuda?
I'll be honest, when all this came up, there was some mention. For me to be specific, no. But if you read it out, I'm quite sure I'll remember it.
I didn't even know what that answer was, Papa. I'm telling you, I had no idea there were other people, but you're saying you did.
No, when this case came up, there was some mention of it. So that's what I'm saying, but I didn't get into the specifics of it.
Is the answer no, really?
Yeah, no.
Okay, thanks. Because I'm sitting there going, what is this? I'm reading the very case that you're talking about.
Okay.
Whew, boy. In rejecting his appeal, the Privy Council confirmed that the categories of belongers in the Constitution are closed, that Mr. Barbosa does not have a common law right to belong to Bermuda. Although in the end, this seemed to be a straightforward conclusion for the court to reach, the judgment nonetheless recognized the anomalies which arise as a result of the decision. Specifically, had Mr. Barbosa acquired British Overseas Territory citizenship by naturalization rather than by birth, then he could have fallen within the categories in the Constitution of people who belong to Bermuda. Further, the wife of a person who belongs to Bermuda, either because they possess Bermuda status or have been naturalized as a British Overseas Territory citizen, is also deemed to belong, whereas the husband of such a person is not.
Wait 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Barbosa was married to someone else who had the privilege?
No. Yes. No, the wife.
Okay. So he was claiming, how does that work?
So what happened, he was born in Bermuda.
Right.
Okay. And he wanted to claim Bermudian status.
Yes.
He was denied. He was given indefinite leave to remain. Okay, so you can stay here without Bermudian status, without, I guess, being a PRC, right? So when he married his wife, I don't know the exact way it happened, but his wife became a naturalized British Overseas Territory citizen, which I don't quite know how it happened so quickly, but she was given that in 2014. And they married in 2013. Sorry, in 2007.
Okay.
So 7 years after they married, she was given the Overseas Territory status.
You know, I also remember around this time there was a lot of talk about loopholes.
Well, here's the point that I'm going to get to now. I think, perhaps I'm just dumb, but I think it's been a breach of trust that I was speaking about earlier. So in the work permit policy, when you speak to a Bermudian or a spouse of a Bermudian,
Right.
that also includes belongers. In other words, mate, no, there is no job that only born Bermudians or only, Bermudians or wife of a Bermudian is entitled to.
Okay.
So, seeking employment as an example, a non-Bermudian resident may not look for a job without first obtaining permission from the Department of Immigration. Those non-Bermudians who are exempt from work permit control are belongers, spouses of belongers, PRC holders, and extension of spouse employment rights holders, spouses of Bermudians, and job makers. I'm just gonna employers, there's a different section, are required to inform all unsuccessful Bermudians, spouses of Bermudians, belongers, and spouses of belongings and PRC holders the outcome of their applications prior to submitting work permit applications to the department. I'm trying to see if you let me know when you catch on.
No.
I'm going to keep reading.
No, I'm going to tell you something. I had this conversation on the weekend as well. And the person we were talking, and they were saying, you know what? We Bermudians need to, first of all, hold our leaders accountable. That's number one that came out of this. The other one came out that we need to stop complaining and do something about what is actually happening in our country. And I was like, okay, what is your solution? They said, number one is that we have to start collecting data on why the employers, number one, do not, how am I going to put this? Why doesn't employers report on who has applied for a job and why they didn't get it?
They do. They have to.
Yes.
To the department, not to us.
Right. So, and then in turn, we may ask, different ways of asking, what was the outcome of that and if they were satisfied with the answer. But see, that's where that trust comes in.
That's my point. So I'm going to read you this list.
Okay.
By the way, if anybody has the work permit policy 2025, I'm reading page 8. Again, in seeking employment, responsibilities of the employer in filling job vacancies. They go on. And then here's the list. Okay?
Right.
Well, I'll read this sentence. It is important to note that although the department scrutinizes each application submitted by employers, the department does not possess the power to force an employer to hire Bermudians, spouses of Bermudians, PRC holders, or any person.
Really?
Notwithstanding this, it is expected. You heard that word?
Yeah, expected.
Thank you. Not mandated, not unlawful.
Expected.
Or lawful, right? It is expected that employers will fill jobs in the following order. Number 1, Bermudian. Who's number 2?
Spouses.
Nope.
Belongs.
A belonger. Number 3. Take a guess.
Oh, God, you got me messed up.
Spouse of a belonger. Number 4, a non-Bermudian spouse, including the widow or widower of a Bermudian. I want you to get that one, that someone with no tie to Bermuda, but a British overseas territory citizen, they come before my foreign wife.
Yeah, that don't make no sense.
Then a divorced parent of a Bermudian, then a PRC holder, then a non-Bermudian with a qualifying Bermudian connection, for instance, the mother or father of a child born to a Bermudian parent, and then other non-Bermudians. Boy, people can see your face. Wait
1 minute. Grassroots, that don't make no sense. Because if you look at the history of Bermuda, for instance, my ex-wife was a foreigner. I would hate to think that she was going out for a job and someone who was considered or was a belonger would get a chance at a job before her. That doesn't make no sense to me.
I don't. This is what I'm getting at.
Right.
Now, you know what? Let me go on a bit. I'm just going to read this other thing because I think you might find this a little relevant. There's a. Let me see if I can find it. One moment.
Oh, wait.
I'm all. You can. I'm listening.
So, who made this law?
There we go. There we go. That would shock you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, who made that law? Please.
All I can tell you is that the belonging came about prior to 2019, but the Privy Council, by setting up what a fixed thing of pathways of belongers, but including people from other colonies.
Right.
We don't have that control. It's not even about the control. I haven't even gotten to the worst part, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? The worst part for me really isn't even, okay, this, I have a strong feelings about this.
Right.
Extremely. Okay? Deep. But even looking for jobs, transferring employers, transferring within, so let's say you earn you're Mariko Thomas and you're in a bunch of different places, you can move those belongings all around without any, like they don't have any work permit restrictions. The issue for me is that we are supposed to trust.
Right.
Okay, and I'm gonna say supposed to, and I'm using the word trust because we have the data I read out earlier about the number of Bermudians versus Bermudians being hired. We aren't being hired.
Right.
The guy with the Bermudian accent, belongers, PRCs, spouses of belongers.
Yeah.
We are down. We, from 2017, 1,246 fewer.
Wow.
And this order is Bermudian, belonger, then your wife.
Yeah.
Your spouse is after a belonger.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Does it feel like we are ensuring we don't follow Cayman's route?
Well, it's very much similar.
Welcome to my weekend. So Cayman only took 3 years to end up as a minority population in their country. 3 years.
Yes.
And I read their 2022 budget. That's why I can't touch ours. I haven't brought it up, really.
Right.
Because I'm not sure I can keep my cool.
Okay.
Because all of the bragging about how much they're earning from payroll, that's in our budget.
Yes.
Right? The payroll contributions are this, and the revenue from payroll taxes up. And unemployment is only 1.4, or it's pretty much nil.
Got you.
Does it sound like that's a government that thinks they got to change lanes, change gears,
No.
to make any? Have they done anything wrong? Well, so why do we have the data we have? Why are people leaving? Why, in their own report, are people leaving the country because of top 5 factors? High cost of living, difficulty of retiring in Bermuda, overall management of Bermuda and the economy, availability of career opportunities in Bermuda, and quality of life and activities. The reason I brought up bias is between international business, marine science, and the robotics and things they're doing there, and hospitality, with everything that's involved in hospitality, right? Those are career areas.
Right.
But if some of this stuff was available in terms of different types of careers, would so many Bermudians had to leave? Now, if you're into certain things that we don't do in Bermuda, I don't know, oil manufacturing or scouring the planet for new chemicals, okay, we don't really do that here. And so you'd have to do that somewhere else.
Right.
You have I don't want to go too deep with this, but you have a friend who's a if not world-renowned doctor.
Yes.
In fact, so much so they lecture now without operating or practice, or they may still practice, but...
Yeah, they basically travel worldwide. Globally, they travel to lecture.
Okay. And that person is Bermudian.
Yes.
Okay. Now, my guess is the opportunities to operate and write and lecture to that level happened because they were in facilities that had people who had heart or eye or lung or whatever the finger issue was.
Yes.
And so if you're in that environment, right? I get it. Now, that person, okay, with what they know, what if they created the Institute of whatever their discipline is in Bermuda?
Yes.
That was cutting edge research, right? That was really going way out there in treating whatever it is that this particular person is an expert in, right?
Yeah.
Belco would be too high. Internet is too high. Building the building is going to cost stupid, crazy money.
Yes.
Right? But let's say all of that works. Okay? Would that person be achieving something here? Are we setting ourselves up as that dynamic, innovative jurisdiction for even Bermudians to come home and go for it?
Right.
Okay? And remember PPP, public-private partnership?
Yes, yes.
Okay? I keep saying, how come that old airport isn't a convention center?
It's just there.
Shh.
Cross
Island.
Cross Island too. But we got an award.
But what I'm getting at, okay, is where there's a lack of vision.
Yeah.
Lack of knowledge, our people can perish. But a lack of vision is forcing our people to not have the knowledge.
Yes.
Right? And it's very, very difficult to look. This weekend was a very tough one for me.
Right.
The rideshare, the data, I've obviously got the green paper at home, right? So I read this all in the last month or so, and I'm saying, I honestly can't believe. Well, I can't believe, right? But when you think about, let's say, the movement in the public transportation industry, why hasn't that movement hit in other areas? Tourism hasn't come on like that. Health hasn't come on like that. You haven't seen some new app that's out there about your health. Right? There's bus, SureLink.
Right.
TCD, online.
Yes.
Right? For some reason, transportation seems to be moving on.
Can I say something?
Please do.
Okay. I'm a Bermudian, born a Bermudian. And I've been thinking lately, how could so many things be going against me as a born Bermudian? Right? So much. And when you look at it, right, it's education, it's everything. And this hasn't happened overnight, mind you.
No.
Okay? You can't even, I'm trying to figure out, is it gradual? Is it, but you know what it comes down to? Not only our leaders, but our citizens have to have the will to say that they're going to do something about this, or even demand that something has to be done about this. I know that Bermudians, many of us are probably saying, well, what can I do? I can't do nothing. I feel shackled. Yes, you can. You can do something.
I'm all ears.
Okay? Number one, Bermudians have to decide what kind of society they want to live in.
One moment. Let me just, I have a pet peeve of something you just said.
Okay, go ahead.
Whenever people talk about Bermudians, they're Bermudian, and they say they, it rubs me the wrong way. So please say we.
We.
Thanks.
We.
So now go on.
We have to decide that we want something done about this. And we're not powerless. Let me start with that. We are not powerless. We just have to decide that we're going to do something about it. I know that different people look for a hero. Someone was going to go out there with a sword and everybody's going to say, follow me to the promised land. Well, it don't quite work like that. We have to do things collectively.
Well, let's have a little discussion about that.
Sure.
Let's have a little back and forth.
Yes.
Okay, because I was in a meeting, in my session for training last week.
Right.
And the host said to, I'm telling you, I've been in some places, okay?
Yes.
But the host said to the participants that, a lot of people complain about this and complain about that, and
Right.
we can all each one of us can do something, right?
Yes.
And quite frankly, I am sick to, what they call it, eye teeth, back teeth? There's an English phrase about that. About hearing that we can all do something. No, we can't.
Right.
If we could, they would be more afraid. And so when they give themselves a raise,
Right.
when you make a construction boss in charge of housing and says, guess what? Coincidentally, we also need a lot of construction. When the tourism numbers are the way they are, when you go after taxi drivers, when the same person who chairs the Public Service Licensing Board chairs WEDCO where you thought you had the problems,
Right.
is bigger than the drivers, is bigger than the owners. So we can do all of this, but how are they even respecting us? Ask Marco Warren's family how much respect they feel.
I'll get hit, man.
I'm not even, not even, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
These are public facts. This is what I'm trying to get. If I was going at them, trust me, some of their people know that I'm not going for them. If I was, trust me, that's not it. But I can't be Bermuda and walk around in a blindfold. Okay? I'm telling you. Mate, there is a one-line petty request. One line. I'm not even... All I'm trying to get at,
Right.
okay, is that it's not that easy to understand what we can do when it's been such a breach of trust. So these job numbers, right? 15 versus 560, 18 versus 560. You think the average person knew that in order to know that they should be vexed? And then when you are, and that person wants to be the premier, you just, oh, wow, I must be wrong for thinking what I think. Because everybody thinks that guy's this.
I see your point, yeah.
Right? Or, my cousin moved to England last week because, and they're letting me know how good it is out there. Why should I stay here? That's the individualistic thinking that's come from this cabinet. Because they know there's no collective. They don't talk about, look at what's happening in education. There's not even an apology for that, just for the money spent. Just the money spent, no apology. Let me break it down for you. Ready for this one?
Go ahead.
The child who was born in 1998 is going 30 shortly.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the time frame, about 4 years, that's been there to change this country's dynamic and trajectory. And I came on this show with a mind to ultimately say, you can be political, but countries have certain developments. There are certain things that you ought to do if you're a responsible leader, if you're a responsible government. And a country like this, with its history, as a bare minimum, if you take England, right? Every government that comes in has to deal with the special relationship they thought they had with America and Europe.
Right.
leave aside the overseas territories got to deal with, but you just deal with, it used to be, they had to deal with Ireland and Europe, right?
Yes.
Now, Ireland is fairly peaceful for them. They're out of Europe, and Trump is saying, I don't care about you. But every government had to deal with those things of the UK.
Right.
There is nothing that every government has dealt with in this country other than immigration. That's it.
Right.
There's no government, there's no thing that says we are isolated and we need to reduce dependency.
Right.
Whatever that means. And so every government, everything is part of the Bermudian DNA.
Right.
We're trying to reduce our imports. We're trying to reduce our dependency on imported whatever it is.
Yes.
But no, that doesn't come up. Okay? You don't hear, was it Robin allowed that cliff face and all kinds of environmental destruction? But imagine the same party, if you want to talk about the environment, is thinking about selling the quarry to Tucker's Town. The people, Tucker's, mate, I thought that was a Tucker's Town.
Yeah.
And let me say, this again, you can say what I feel about Tucker's Town all you wish. That government ran a land grab commission.
Yes.
Because of the injustice of Tucker's Town. So if you live there now, or if you want to give them more land, that's you, and I get to judge you. And if you're a delegate, and you think that's been great, yep, we should give the people at Tucker's Town more land. You're not even punishing your leader for even saying it or thinking it. There are no values. Here we are.
Yeah.
Work permit policy. I have another document here. I'm not even going to read because I don't want to depress our people even more. But it's a retention of the local workforce.
Oh, wow.
Right? Remember that? They're going to half the PRC requirement. How are we not Cayman? So this is what I'm trying to get. They're doing everything Cayman did and then some. And Cayman, this is how foolish. Cayman didn't have a corporate income tax. So they had to pursue prosperity and growth. They didn't have to the way they did, but they did afraid.
Yeah.
They did worry that they were going to have them funds. In 2022, you should read their budget. They're still coming out of COVID. But if you read the Caymanian budget, you'd think you're in Bermuda.
Wow.
Of 2026. No, because I'm saying the way the finance minister in Bermuda went on about GDP and all these other esoteric theoretical numbers that are rising. Right? It's like, how do you even talk about unemployment numbers when there are fewer Bermudians working? And fewer Bermudians in Bermuda because of how you've governed Bermuda.
Yeah.
These are facts. There are facts in their government. I don't publish reports.
Right.
And so I'm afraid. Okay, I'm afraid that that person that called me because somebody told him give him a chance is being theoretical with other people's lives. There are seniors right now can't afford medication. There's somebody right now embarrassed because they're sitting on a stretcher in a hospital hallway right now. There are parents not knowing what their child is going to do in public school in September right now. And they have been supreme. They have not taken one criticism. They have not done one thing wrong, made one apology. It's all going great. Even if I talk about the state of the roads, nope. That minister comes out announcing roads he thinks is paved.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what it is. Remember I was talking in the very beginning about we had to build something? Okay, well back then, the sense of mission, the fact that we had to build something. So I remember talking to the late David Allen about tourism and David Doddle, who was the tourism minister at the time.
Right.
And imagine the incoming tourism minister was David Allen, who was a renowned travel writer, journalist, consultant.
Okay.
And the person who the EVP had as a tourism minister was a hotelier. Now, who do you think has a bigger view about tourist jurisdictions around the world?
The one who wrote.
The one who was hired to assess stuff and review stuff and visit this place and test the service of that one, and right?
Yes.
He's also the one who created the African Diaspora Heritage Trail and got Danny Glover to be the honorary chair.
Yes.
But that's obvious. Alan, when he submitted what he wanted to go in the PLP 98 platform for tourism, it was about 13 pages.
Yeah, wish list.
Had to break. No, it wasn't. No. Foundation as to why.
Yeah.
Foundation, why. Foundation, it was all based on foundation.
Okay.
And even then, he wasn't entirely sure he had it right. Got me?
Okay.
Well, because, right? Minister Nelson Bascom, he was social working. Everybody knew him as a community social working guy.
Yes.
He wasn't there arrogant. Okay? We had a Rhodes Scholar in that cabinet, Arthur Hodgson.
Yes.
Met with him a couple of times. What I'm trying to get at, mate, is the sense that everybody was on a mission to perform higher, to achieve more, to make sure you served better. That's what drove them. Today's crop of politicians think that whatever they do is the right thing, which is why they announce things that aren't even worth announcing.
Yes.
Imagine a minister sitting on a bus saying, "We brought in 2 buses." Really? Everything they do is the right thing to do because they did it. There's no humility. There's no, hope I get this right. You know the panic we have preparing for this show?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like, I'm sure they think, yeah, please. And so the show's got to change.
Yeah.
I can't just say, I wish somebody else was saying this, I wish somebody else was doing this, because the thing still needs to be said and done. And if it's going to be us, really, it's going to be us.
Okay.
Amazon sell bulletproof vests?
I don't need one.
Wait, you just say we. You know, well, I'm going to teach you this we thing.
No,
you
we.
said I. You said I.
I can't, we don't need that.
Okay.
You gotta understand, I don't go to church every weekend for nothing, my faith is built on something.
Oh, yes, mate.
Yes, so I don't need no bulletproof, okay?
So look, it's all right. It really wants me to take a call. I think he's afraid I'm talking too much. Hi, caller, you on the air.
Yes, guys. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon.
It's a little gap down this end of the island. How's it up there, we?
We were down here, and the other day, we had to pass through, and Willie said, I think that fella lives right up that lane right there. And
you needed to stop by.
Well,
if don't stop by, I'm insulted.
No, I get it, but we were on a mission to get to the airport. We were giving somebody their last view of Bermuda, and then we had to, so we drove around through and then back out to the airport.
Oh, man, you could have stopped by and you could have seen a blind man making kites.
Oh man.
Man, you guys, what you want is... But listen, guys.
Yep.
Yes.
Corey, you said something that has really got me worried. You said just 2 minutes ago that the Corey's been still the toughest time?
No, it's been offered. Not offered, but it's been floated. That was in caucus, it's out in the public, that GenCom wants that land, and the government was considering it.
Well, I put that question to the premier at CC, and he said it's not happening.
Oh, I'm sure it's not now, but it was raised. It was.
Okay.
Let me tell you, your caucus members lost their mind. But if you recall, the premier or the party leader never had a role in caucus because that was for the MPs and those to have their way. I believe he made himself, or he became co-chair of caucus, which is how things get off and on agendas.
If they came off to me, what you said is, I thought it was a done deal because I.
Oh no!
Okay.
No, but I'm saying the fact that it was even being considered, like that would be laughed out normally, but that was actually raised in caucus.
Okay.
Cool.
I raised it at CC.
No, I'm sorry. He raised it in caucus himself. Hey, what you all think about this? No, I'm saying it wasn't raised like by somebody from the floor. No, right from the table. What do you all think of this? So it was put down.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I feel a little better now.
Good stuff. Me too. All right. Take care.
Look, guys, I made a kite for each one of you.
All right. We got to get on it.
We got to get on there.
Well, the St. George's color one is I had to order the paper.
Thank you. That's my one.
I ordered it Thursday, and it came. It's in Bermuda. They just got to be delivered.
Okay, that's my one.
Thomas' kite is getting ready.
I heard. It sounds like Thomas and people. Appreciate that.
I tell you.
Come on, Billy. Come on, Billy. We're always ready.
No.
Mind you. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Take a drive. Now Thursday, are you guys coming to the seniors club on Thursday? RA seniors.
What time is that?
We haven't been invited to that. Well, I mean, we haven't been invited to that one.
It's 12 o'clock.
I got to confirm because I was at the Sunshine Seniors Club in Southampton last month, and I had to go back this month, and I just don't know what date that is. Actually, surprised I haven't heard from him yet. But I will, if not, Thursday sounds cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm writing it down.
The thing is, it's 12 o'clock. I don't know. I might be jumping the gun. I'll see.
Okay.
My wife's just going out the door. I'll check with her.
All right.
Okay. Please let us know.
I'll call you.
Sounds
I'll
good.
call you tomorrow.
Okay. Sounds great.
Okay, guys.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Take care.
All
right.
Wow.
So, listen. I can tell. Good day, caller. You're on the air.
Good day. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I'm calling in to thank you two lovely men. Much appreciated. Listening to you and talk about the immigration issue.
Yes, thank you.
Being I am a born Bermudian, lived there on and off, and I have American-born children who also now have status.
Hello.
Okay.
Bermuda status.
See?
Yes.
Okay. My daughter, who's the oldest though, has status, but she doesn't have the same status as the two younger ones. And I don't know if it's because when she was born in 1976, something
that was the year.
didn't take an effect. And she's the one that has lived in Bermuda the most because I had to move back home when she was just 2 months, and I lived back and forth. So she was kind of upset that she didn't have full status.
Okay.
She should have.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully someday I'll be able to get that part for her situation.
Good stuff.
But also in talking about the politics in Bermuda, I think I had called into somebody's show talking about the premier. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to know, why do the party, the MPs, or their premier at the time get to pick the deputy premier or the new premier coming in? Okay,
I'll talk about that. Sure.
I'm like,
I'll give you an answer.
You know,
for
that I mean, the people should be picking the premier. The people. I understand Bermuda's laws because it's underneath some, the British rulings or the way they do things over in Britain. I mean, we're not all stupid about that.
Yep.
But the thing is that, there's no respect for the people because they keep on going against what they say they're going to do for the people once they're elected. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So the people, I think if the people's able to pick the premier, maybe there'd be, a difference. I don't know much about this new premier that wants to run Hayward. Like I said, I live here, and I as much as I listen to the radio and various Bermudians calling in, and you young gentlemen educating us about certain things. I mean, another Bermudian's going to say, oh my God, she don't even know what she's talking about.
No.
You know,
They leave that to me on the show.
Other Bermudians, because I've heard them call in and, you know, I'm not you two, but I mean other Bermudians will call in and critique about what somebody else might say, and you know. But another thing is listening to the radio a few months ago. It might be more than a few months ago, and one of I think it was the deputy premier who is in charge of housing.
Yes, Zandy Silva
had said something about the new apartments or luxury apartments that they're building down in Elbow Beach.
Yep.
Yes.
And this is my perception. When they use the term luxury, that's what they mean by segregation.
Hello.
Okay.
Yes.
That is just another term for segregation. So what I have to say to the Bermudians: wake up.
Wake up! I knew that was coming next.
People.
Hello.
Okay, please wake up. Because me being a Bermudian, going back and forth home for vacations or living there at different times, and then living in America and living in this area where I'm living in, and I'm not far from New York, because I would go to church down in the city in Harlem at Abyssinian every week. You know, Reverend Butts will constantly say and tell the people, buy property in this area because they're going to push you out. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's what they're doing in Bermuda. They want the young people to get up and leave. They want it. I've been saying this every time I go home. They push, even in this area. There used to be a lot of blacks when I first came to this area, and I was just a child. But you notice things and you know things. And there is no black hardly in this area anymore.
Mercy.
Okay? Yep. So everywhere they touch, they move you because they want what they want, and they don't care where you go. Yes. They just want you gone.
Yes.
That's what we were concerned about Cayman. That's why I was so concerned about Cayman. Because Cayman, 3 years.
You're trying to tell Bermudians, wake up.
Yeah.
Fight for it. Fight for what's yours. That's what they're doing in this doggone country, and they don't even own it because they killed the Indians and got them on food to get it. Lie, cheat, and steal. They're doing that to this very moment.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So Bermudians, wake up.
Loud and clear.
This isn't a woman rattling on. I see it going on around the world. Okay? And the Little Rock, yes, they know it's one of the most beautiful rocks out in the middle of the ocean. Don't have to be bothered by nobody. Yes, they want it, and they want you gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, I'm just looking at the time, but thank you.
Wake up. I would love to come home and live. Love to. But, you know, it's a scary thought because and they're going and that's what they wanted. They want it to be a scary thought because they don't want no Bermudians returning, and they want the ones that are there. They want you gone. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you a question, okay? Because in all the years moving and coming home for vacation over the years, okay, I've never known it to have the amount of Jewish people on the island to have a rabbi. So Bermuda got the first rabbi. It's been maybe 2 years now. And that kind of blew my mind. Because I also live here in this country and know how they want to move. They'll move you out in a minute. You better be gone when they come.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't realize, I could tell you there's one man who writes every time he feels offended. I didn't realize that the population had grown where they had a rabbi. So you told me something, but like I said, I thought from what I saw and read, it was a very, very, very small community. So I'm surprised that it warrants a rabbi. But okay.
Exactly.
So
well,
be it.
you know what? I'm not stupid and I'm not naive. I am so far from naive. And my eyes is open to any and every little thing that's going on in my surroundings, Bermuda surroundings, and over in the Middle East.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Well, I want to thank you for this call. This is in case anybody doesn't know, but I was going to guess you were calling from nearby New York. the accent is
Very strong.
but the Bermudian is a sprinkling of the Bermudian in it as well. So thank you so much for calling.
Oh, okay, no, because I used to work in New York, and everybody used to say, "My goodness, you sound like a Brooklynite."
That's what I was going to say, for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
I'm like, but that's also from working around them. You know, you pick up that little dialect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, thank you so much.
Anyway,
Thanks a
Thanks
lot.
for letting me talk.
No problem.
Sorry for, I want Bermudians, I apologize for talking so long. They probably said that chick. Oh my God. Here she goes.
No worries. All right. You take care.
All right.
You have a good
Take care.
evening.
And please, thank you for bringing up these subjects, Corey
Excellent.
and
Yes.
Mr. Willie.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, then.
Take care.
Thank-
Good day, caller. You on the air?
Yes, good day, sir.
Good day.
Yes, good day.
How are you today?
All's well.
Nice. No, just touching, and piggyback on your few conversations today about rideshare, if I may.
Yep.
First of all, let me say this. I think there's a major conflict of interest going on when it comes to rideshare. You wonder why they're pushing it so much? The one dispatch that I know that can actually, or who's actually doing what rideshare will be doing right now is Hitch.
Yep.
They're using taxis to do exactly what rideshare will be doing. Rideshare is Uber by another name.
Absolutely. Yep.
Now, the sad reality is, though, that if you do some background checks and find out who are some of the main components of Hitch or shareholders of Hitch, the leader of this country will be one of those persons.
Oh, yeah, but that was declared in part. I would say that's not even a secret.
Exactly.
The current minister owned 2 taxis.
Not only does he have 2 taxis.
No, owned. Past tense.
No, I'm following you. I'm saying not only does he have 2 taxis, but when they were trying to implement Hitch, he was instrumental in
Yep.
helping taxi drivers to get on board with it.
Absolutely. Take a look at some of the people that sit on the public service vehicle licensing board. This one. Let me take it a step further, if I may. Sorry to piggyback on what you're saying, but I'll go back
Yeah, no
to
problem,
2020. There's a letter that I have from 2020 during COVID. And if you recall, Sargasso was out still delivering, or one of the first out to deliver, because they would pick up food, but be 6 feet and drop off food. So,
Right.
well, I saw the conditions that would change that allow drivers that were connected to Hitch to offer that service, even though they were not delivery drivers, they were taxi drivers. But the conditions were changed to allow Hitch drivers to deliver. And it just so happened that you had to take the job on an app. You couldn't pay by cash. And there could be nobody in the vehicle. Well, who does that fit? I have the documentation, right? So I could do this all day.
Yes, we could go on and on, but the fact of the matter is, in my opinion, Hitch is being pushed because of who one of the major shareholders is. This is looking to walk out of politics.
I'll tell you what, unbeknownst to a lot of people, I tried to assist a different group who was trying to get an app registered late last year. And the people I had to write to on their behalf didn't even know it was me. They will this week though, because like I said, I've had a rough weekend in terms of realizing what the stakes are. and the people who ought to be doing some of the things that we talk about on the show. And so, all right, suit up. I'm coming off the bench.
So tell me something, though. In the House of Parliament, if people know about the leader of this country being a major shareholder of Hitch, and knowing Hitch is one of the platforms that can accommodate rideshare, the transport minister also played a major part in getting Hitch to where it is today. This is not a major conflict of interest. Like
I think so. I think so, but I think it was 2 weeks ago we did a show on corruption, conflict of interest, and unethical. Right? And the point you're making, the point we're making right now was the subject. Right? At the time, though, I was talking about a contract out of BLMC, Redco, for security. But what you're raising right now is just as legitimate. And so at the time, I gave an example of where I went to get guidance. I was no MP, nobody. But I went to go talk to the procurement office because I had done a business plan, and I was a consultant to a Minister of Tourism, and I didn't want to sell this plan and people think that they're getting a blight because I've got this business plan. Then I go see, and I'm nobody. And the person told me the best that I can tell you today, which was people know people in this country. And the best you can kind of do when it comes to conflicts of interest is, does everybody know? So the knowledge is what's supposed to happen. Well, that again isn't enough. So every MP is supposed to write down a form that is their register of interest. It's on parliament.bm right now. So if you go to parliament.bm, I think it may be under House Business or About, and every senator or every MP, all 36, they list in terms of the form, whether they get paid from this, whether they have any government contracts. And in the beginning, you would be stunned about the MPs who worked for GMD, the then parent owner of Hitch. So there were MPs and ministers who worked under the owner of that company. But that was all, I can tell you that because it's published. That's what I was saying about the difference between sort of what's hidden and corrupt, or thought to be corrupt, and what is just blatantly done. And the people, that's why I disagree with Willie about what we can do, mate. The level in this country of in-your-facedness is such that I don't even know how you confront. Like I'm saying, but yeah, sorry.
No, not to cut you. Truth be told, especially when it comes to the taxi industry, your premier, like most other premiers, knows that taxis, earners, and drivers, it's so many of them, it's so hard for them to come together to attack this as one, and they know that. So rather than try and help with that, they use it to push, especially they got an agenda that's pertaining to your pocket. They
Absolutely
use
right.
it to push their agenda.
So the collective...
I mean, I'm not saying taxes are perfect, you know.
No, me either. Me either.
And the Taxi Association have said it and have all gave them other avenues to use, but they're not hearing anything. Like you say, I'm not pushing this agenda simply because at the end of the day, it's going to benefit them and whoever else is part of that particular company.
You got it.
And who knows, there might be other companies around that they're part of also, but this one right now is in the limelight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping if there's any Bermudians listening that don't know, at least you can get an idea of why Hitch is being pushed. It ain't being pushed because the public's outcry towards taxes. They're using that outcry to push their personal agenda, in my opinion.
Like
their agenda is making sure Hitch gets as much transportation underneath their banner as they can because it's going to affect their bottom line.
That's the bottom line for me.
More than that.
Okay.
That's why Hitch is being pushed.
All right, brother, man.
There are other options that they can take rather than, the taxi industry. You know who earns most of the taxes?
No.
It's people like us.
Oh, right. Yes. All right. Yes.
That's what I mean. I'm not buying.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm with you now.
90%. And it might even be more than 90%. One of the last thoroughly black-owned businesses out there, and these guys are doing all they can to push it on, in my opinion. Now, I stand to be corrected, you know what I mean?
No, well, I would just say that in this country, the industries, I had this comment. If you're wrong, I'm wrong, because I said the same thing this weekend. When it comes to industries that are predominantly black and male, okay, there's a weird paternal thing. So fishermen and taxi drivers, right, aren't getting the respect because if we allow the confirmation bias, so yeah, man, that driver, his car's parked all day, or that guy did a U-turn, or those three guys only do prearranged. Well, that's like at best one half the story, right? So I definitely take your point. There's a lot going on out here, and like I said, this weekend I had some conversations that, boy, here we are. But it's really it's 10 after 4.
Well, I just wanted to highlight that, you know.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the call.
Okay.
There might be some listening public
Sure.
who's not aware. And the sad reality about this Westminster system, Wanda, is that
Yeah.
if you have a leader who's got an agenda, he has so much power. He chooses his ministers. He fires his ministers. He chooses the heads of different chairmanships of different boards. Some of which also get paid. He helps
You
people
got it.
get jobs in different parts of government. Nobody wants to ruffle his feathers, so there's a law to get away with anything. It's got the support of.
Well, I mean, if you look, but see, this is new, right? If you remember, and one of the things that stunned me, that let me try to do a proper word here, because the word almost just came running out, but I wonder, let's say, they talk about chromosomes, right? Men and women. Okay, so one's got one XY and one's, okay? Well, who do you, really? I would say Ancola. One premier knew there were 3 people who wanted their job, and they were all in cabinet.
Yes.
Webb, Brown, Butler, not so much Butler, but, right? Webb and Brown most definitely wanted premiership.
Right.
Right? Hudson challenged for it,
Yes.
and they were in her cabinet. Whereas the person who would be respected as finance minister isn't even allowed in cabinet because they had a falling out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see the difference between strength and
Yeah.
not strength? I'll say not strength. All right, well, brother, we got to get on up here.
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot.
Last word before I go.
Yes, sir.
People be mindful.
Mindful, I like that.
Whoever this premier is backing for the next premiership, be mindful of that. Part.
Brilliant.
Because it's for a reason.
There we go.
Anyway, enjoy the rest of
Yes,
the
sir.
day.
You take care, brother.
Yes, sir.
Really, it's 4:15.
Already?
Yep, and remember we got instructions for when we go. I don't know how to.
Let's, I beg you, take one more.
Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
Good afternoon.
I am so glad you brought this topic up because you know what? Corruption to the hilt with this whole taxi thing. Because even the wife is a director of Hitch.
Oh. I didn't even know that.
If you go up on the register of companies, her name is there as a director.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
he's getting paid on both sides. And what the local public do not realize is that a lot of the issues that the taxi drivers are facing, which they claim to be causing this new regulation to come into place, stems all from TCD. Because
Yes.
TCD are not
of
doing
course.
their job.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Yep.
Wow.
In fact, I got a list actually from the some taxi drivers, and more enforcement and more traffic officers is one of the biggest things they ask for.
That is one of the biggest things. And here's the disparity. Give us temporary taxes. It
There
would make
you
more money
go.
go into the purse with temporary taxes rather than putting on this rideshare at
There
$1,000.
we go. That's where I was. Where
And on top of that, if they can't regulate, if they can't
Enforce.
Regulating taxis they have. If they don't have enough officers out there working 24/7 to assist us to make sure that our taxi drivers are doing what they're supposed to be doing,
You got it.
how they gonna regulate these
There's the other ones
Right.
at night,
He's the
not even lit up.
master.
Yes, exactly.
Okay?
Yep.
The such companies have not provided any type of data to support what the minister is saying.
And
The
it's,
minister said Ron is saying that he has consulted with the taxi drivers. No such thing has happened.
nope,
And we know we are not perfect.
of course.
But when you've got all the flights landing at the same time, during the summer months, you can have over 10,000 passengers. That excludes the staff up in dockyard. And everything is coming in. How the hell are you supposed to do this?
Do it all.
And support your locals, and support your hotels, and support the airport. How are you supposed to do it?
Yep. Then we got the grocery stores, the after school.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. No, I hear you.
Yep.
Loud and clear.
Absolutely. And Joint Q Public is blaming us.
Yep.
And what we have, listen, it's so much I could say, but I'm so glad you gave me the opportunity because I know you're ready to shut this down.
I'm glad we did too.
But I am really, I'm pissed off. I have family that drive taxi. I have close friends that they do the short runs, the long runs. Yes, you do have some out there that don't want to do the short runs. All they want to do is chase the dollar.
Yep.
But this is an industry
Ex-
coming from all nationality, all colors, white, black, or
yes,
Jews, okay?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Grassroots, and it's one of the biggest ones.
Some
And
people.
this tool is going to put in rideshare, which will destroy this industry that our forefathers have worked very hard for.
Sounds like the bartending
This
industry.
government is not for
us.
their people.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm compelling anybody that's out there that heard my voice. If this bill gets passed tonight, get in contact with anybody in the Senate who could shut this crap down. Because this is ridiculous. And
I agree.
that's all I have to
Oh,
say.
thank you
Now,
so much
all
for
have a
saying it.
blessed-
You have a very good night too. All righty.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Right.
All right, Billy. We're not taking any more calls, right?
No more
Okay,
calls.
good. That was a very good look from the front lines. Okay, and that's the breach of trust, right? I think the average person would hear, "Oh, right, sure, it must be." Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that it's hard to get taxes, right? But it's the same amount of license taxes, but we now have international business, cruise ships, some hotels, limos, right? There's organization rather than just labeling and judging and criticizing and hurting the pocketbook.
Yeah.
For what purpose? Pocketbook. Just gave my age wave that one, didn't I? Mercy me.
Yeah.
Really, you want to come back?
Oh, I'll be here.
All right.
God willing.
We need to, pop one out?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, callers, listeners. I think we've changed gears on the show. We will still do history and
Yes,
some
of
of that.
course,
We're going
of
to do
course.
that stuff. Like, I can't wait to tell you how the roads were named in Hamilton.
I'm looking forward to that, too.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Oh, and the other one.